So after some fun with shimming, here's what we've come up with. So there's the inner casing or the inside bearing oil shim, and there's one also in the outer cover here, stops the oil coming out. So they're very thin, so I'm not going to measure that, but after a bit of trial and error, and I decided that the other shims were too damaged, they were too wavy and they weren't packing down, so I reverted back to the clutch shims from a small two-stroke. So I ended up with two shims, one at 1.4 mil and one at 0.9. So I guess that would be probably 1.5 and 1. So we've ended up with about 2.5 mil of shimming. Okay, so that then just what we'll do is we'll just sit that there and we'll just rest the shims onto the shaft. Doesn't come through here, okay, so it comes up as far as the shoulder of the shaft rather comes through as far as the bearing. It doesn't come any further than that. So it doesn't matter if these are off center. I might get some larger ones made to fill the full sort of diameter of the bearing opening here, but it doesn't really matter. The purpose of the shim is to be solid compacting of the bearing, so to push the bearing through. So again, lots of trial and error. You kept adding more, just 0.1, 0.2 of a mil here and there. So this end cover snugly tightens down. So it's tightening down onto the shims and therefore onto the bearing. Okay, so the shims are in there. Shake it, they're not moving about, so that means that the outer cover is compact and snug up to the bearing, and this bearing is now just ever so slightly through, which is normal because as that thrust washer wears and deteriorates, it thins. So after time you put more shims on the outside, you turn the outer cover and pushes the bearing through. So I've not used any retaining compound or anything like that here. I will use some thread lock on this because this needs to stay in put. This is where the actuating rod goes through that operates the clutch. So I've not used any retaining compound on any of the bearings, including this one, because this one needs to move, but it's not going anywhere. It's not going that way because the shims are that way, and it's not going this way because the shaft is there. So I'm going to then put the front cover back on, if I get it the right way. Shim on the inside, gasket paper here, and then I'm just going to put a couple of the nuts on here. There should be another one somewhere. Here it is. So just to make sure that the front cover is on, nice and snug. Don't lose that. It's just trial and error. It's just getting every gearbox will be different, the wear will be different, the bearings will be different. So it's just trial and error, just going gradually, adding 0.1, 0.2 of a mil to get the shimming correct. So the front cover is in, and he says, so here we go. You should be able to see and hear that, but there's some movement. I can hear it sort of pinging against the oil shim. There's no resistance at all. The axle is spinning on the main bearing on this side and the left hand bearing underneath of the cover here. So I'm just going to bring this up to the camera, just try and get the angle right. I don't know what 0.1 mil looks like, but I'm going to go with that. I'm pretty happy with that. So that's the shimming done. So the bearing in the front cover is in its place. That doesn't need to be touched. Obviously this front cover can come off, get some thread lock on there, because we'll need to put in the actuating rod, grease that up and slide that through the main axle. But for this video, I'm very happy with that. The shimming is set. Now it's on to the next part, which is installing the drive sprocket, the main gear sprocket on this side with the seals and the shims, and then it's on to putting the gears in.